giving me the ball. Just, you know, hard work. We've been in the gym a lot. And then work over while I was hurt and stuff. So, you know, it just shows hard work pays off.
Mike, just how have you felt? Just can you kind of take us through your progression? It feels like you're getting closer and closer to full strength here.
I just feel like I've been getting like better and better with each practice and game. Like you can ask any of my teammates or coaches, like versus where I was a month ago, like, and then now. So really for me, I'm just going to continue. I feel I'm going to continue to get better as the season goes on with conditioning and timing and just getting the feel back for playing again.
Scott,
Hey, Tracy, I mean, obviously, you know, Central Michigan's two guards, kind of the focal point, and they got their points, but they had to take a lot of shots.
That was our main goal. That was our main goal. Make those guys high value. I think the one kid was like 9 for 23. I'm not sure about the other kid, but it was high value tonight, and we knew make those guys high value. We'd be in a great situation to win the game. So, you know, we did a great job, you know, making those guys work for baskets and stuff like that.
Tracy, the one thing you could do the last couple of years was stand around and shoot the ball a little bit, sometimes stationary. But has that, you know, we talked about that maybe really paying off for you once you got back out there. Is that part of the reason you're shooting the ball so well?
I would say that whole process is the reason why I'm shooting the ball so well. You know, I was able to learn a lot about the game, lock in on some stuff that individually I need to get better at. So, you know, I just took that and just every day was in the lab working, trying to get better.
Scott, go back there.
Leron, do you feel like every time you shoot it's going to go in? Because it looks pretty much automatic from 17 feet.
Yeah, I do feel like it could go in every time. Worked hard last year in the off season, and my teammates set me up to have wide open shots. If it wasn't for Tracy, Malcolm, J. Cole, I wouldn't have wide open shots. And half the time it's not somebody 5 feet from me because they do so well setting people up. So they make the game a lot easier for me to be able to make those shots.
Mike, was this a game where you guys thought that you could have that big of a rebounding advantage?
Oh, well, really, like, with our size, with me, Mavs, and Ryan Fink, we just feel that, like, every night we should have an advantage on the offensive and defensive glass because you're not going to play that many teams with the size we have and athleticism. I mean, obviously, in the Big Ten, we'll probably see a couple of teams like Purdue, maybe, or like Michigan State with our size. But most nights, I feel we got the athleticism and the strength that we should be, like, up on the glass. So, yeah, that's the mindset we take into every game.
I guess Figgy's kind of struggling with his offense a little bit, but he's playing with a lot of energy, rebounding, doing other things. How important is that he's finding a way to kind of keep contributing?
I think it's very important. I feel like with our team, you know, it's going to be a different guy every night as far as contributing, and I feel like he's just going to do a little something, but he's going to bounce out of it quick. You know, he's a good player, and I mean, I wouldn't do slumps. Tracy has too, so that's just part of the game. So, but I'm happy, like, you know, that he's keeping a positive attitude about it, and you know, he's going to find his way.
In the back room.
Hey, Tracy, you being a leader on this team, every time we talk or I talk to you, we say it doesn't matter about offense back here. You know that you guys can score points, it's all about offense, but you always talk about defense. Like, it always comes back to defense. No matter what happens on offense, you sort of put that to the side. To keep this team to 73 points and to hold Keene under his average, is this the game that you have been waiting for to see from your team?
I feel like we put it together a couple more games this year, just not as consistent as we wanted to be, but, you know, we got a lot of guys that's really buying in to, you know, the defensive end. We're really picking up on the little things that we, you know, didn't understand at first, and, you know, the last couple games, you know, I can say we doing a better job at, you know, being there, being in the position, and being in the right position. So, you know, I'm going to keep talking about defense all year, honestly, because I know our offense, we got a lot of talented players, like Mike said. So, you know, defense winning games at the end of the day.
From TV row back.
Yeah, back here again. So, you know, especially us in video, we follow the ball the whole time. that's the tip of the iceberg. You see the whole court, you see what's happening off the ball. How would you evaluate what this team is doing today and kind of season-wide away from the ball?
We have a set system into where guys need to be in certain positions when the ball is weak side. You know, we need guys to be on the midline and stuff like that. So we have a grade out sheet every day, and since the beginning of the summer, where we chart, you know, the defensive position, and guys gotta, you know, look at it, look and see where they need to improve. So it's just the same thing, making sure the guys are improving in the areas that they need to improve in.
Still with that?
Tracy again. Just 2 weeks ago, you guys were on the brink of almost losing 4 straight. Now you come back and you've won 4 straight. What's been the main reason for such a turnaround so fast, especially against quality teams?
We stayed poised the whole time. We understood, you know, we really got to get the urgency of, you know, getting better and implementing now. We can't wait. Obviously, we took 3 L's, so, you know, the urgency was really high for us. You know, we definitely understood that as a group, and, you know, I'll say the last 4 games, you know, we've been doing a good job at keeping vision at what we're trying to do.
Obviously proud of the guys. I thought it was certainly, you know, maybe our most complete performance of the year, both ends of the floor. Their buy-in to the game plan, both offensively and defensively, their ability to execute it, I thought was really good. Obviously, we were able to play inside out. Malcolm plays some 4 for us. If you include him, our 3-4-5s, 54 points and 32 rebounds amongst those guys that play 4 and 5 during the game. That was, you know, great. Liked our rebounding effort. Thought our ability to get the ball to the paint was good. And defensively, certainly respect their spurt ability. Those guards are terrific. And they stretch it with 3-point shooting. And at times they were playing 5 guys that could make threes. And, you know, to hold them to 36% and 73 points, I know sounds like a lot, but when you're averaging 90-some and you put 100 on the board, and, you know, that was a good effort defensively. We made some mistakes defending threes. We'll have to get a little bit better there. But all in all, I thought we made less mistakes maybe than we have in any game defensively. So I think it's something that we can certainly build upon.
Questions for Coach? Just raise your hand for the microphone.
I heard in a pregame you said you kind of play how you practice. Did you guys practice well?
Yeah, really well.
Leading into this game?
Yeah, we changed the format of it a little bit, you know, when they're in final exams, and I think that probably helped a little bit. We went a little bit shorter, a little bit more concise, and you know, they exert a lot of mental and physical energy during this time of the year. You know, final exams started for us yesterday. Reading day was this past Thursday. It goes all the way through this upcoming Friday. Bulk of our exams were yesterday and the beginning part of this next week, and we want to make sure that we do a great job there like we always have. That's been a real staple for us. This is how well we've done academically. We want to continue that. But yeah, the effort was good. Attention to detail was good in practice. Abrams, you know, the last couple of days of practice, he really has those guys ready to go. He's loud. He's, you know, and it doesn't take much to get Black to be loud, and then all of a sudden now it becomes a ripple effect. And thought we had great energy. Hill's been talking a lot more. You can hear his voice a lot more, and a lot louder. Guys were holding each other a lot more accountable in practice for mistakes, not just the coaches. That was one of their things coming into the last 2 days right before the game. And they want to be more and more player-led. They've heard me talk about that, and I think we've made a lot of steps in the right direction here, you know, over the last few days. Hopefully this week, with a couple of days off the finals, we'll take one more off than we normally do to help them with that. But, you know, it's a big week for us to get better, because you don't have very often this time of year from this point forward. You only have 2 or 3 more opportunities where it's not a 2-day prep game or 3-day prep game. You know, we have a week here where we'll get 3 or 4 practices where we got a chance to improve, and we're looking forward to that.
John, you mentioned about, you know, your rebounding hasn't been solid this year. You know, you've gotten out rebounded in a few games, but today you came out and almost doubled in rebounding. Is that something you focused on?
Yeah, no question, going into the game. And then obviously I've looked at the rebounding numbers too since Black's become available. That's a, you know, it's a little bit different percentage. Let's just put it that way. And so that's been helpful. The addition of him has been helpful on the glass. But today I thought Finke was unbelievable on the backboard. His effort was tremendous. And thought he played really well today. Didn't shoot it well, but he played really well. Thought Thorne played well, Morgan played well, Black, all those bigs I alluded to earlier that were a part of the 54 points and 32 rebounds that played the 4 and the 5 for us, I thought really had a significant impact on the game.
Coach, obviously you had the injuries and everything else last season, but now you got a full non-conference schedule here at home completed. Just compare it to the experience last year being in Springfield, being back here, and how just you guys have benefited from that.
Well, it's completely different. I've said this, we are so thankful for Springfield, their hospitality. They did such an amazing job. The restaurants we ate at over there, the people, the fans, the way the streets were decorated, the signage. I mean, it was awesome. But having said that, there's no place like home. And we're glad to be in our arena finally. After all the phases over the time, I can remember talking about it during the interview process, and now it's finally here. It seemed like it took a while, but it was worth it. And we're excited about the building and excited that we had an opportunity to play a full home schedule non-conference at home here. I think that was great for our guys. Not quite as much travel, going back and forth. I think it was good for them academically, good for them athletically. But we have no excuses. It is what it is. Other people renovate buildings and have to play outside their buildings sometimes. Last year happened to be our year, and we were able to learn from it, grow from it. But we certainly are appreciative of the fact that we got to play the full non-conference home slate here at State Farm.
Chad and then Lauren.
Coach, obviously we expected the leadership maybe stuff from Tracy, but has his offensive ability this year, are those exceeding your expectations a little right now?
Are you asking me, do I think he was going to shoot 64% from 3 through however many games?
Pretty much, yes.
If I said yes, would you buy that?
No.
No. I knew he was going to shoot the ball the best of his career. I knew that. I saw that coming. He just, one of the things he was able to do for the last 2 years was, the first thing he was able to do when he came back from both injuries that he was allowed to do was shoot. And so obviously here's a guy chomping at the bit to come back. And so he spent a ton of time on shooting the ball, becoming a better shooter. So I think you have 2 factors that are in play. One is he's earned the right to make them, and he's a really good shooter now. He's really developed that. And 2, he takes better ones. So thus his percentage is higher now. He's getting, the double kick back on that deal. Why is he taking better ones? I think he feels very comfortable with who he is. He sees the game at a slower speed now than he did when I first coached him. And lets things develop and really sees things a lot better than I thought he did, than I know that he did when I first coached him. So I think the combination of those 2 things have certainly, allowed you to see the improvement he's made from an efficiency standpoint on the offensive end.
I was going to bring you to the same area, except I was going to ask, from the standpoint, your best shooter going into the season was Coleman Lance. I think everybody thought. It's strange that your team is shooting so well, way better than last year, and yet he isn't.
He'll figure that out pretty quickly. I've always told you it's like riding a bike. Same thing with Fink. He didn't shoot very well today, but he will. Those guys work too hard. They're too good of shooters. I'm not as worried about that. I thought, as I said earlier, I thought Michael played really well today. He was really locked in, rebounded it, defended, was engaged, knew our coverages. Thought he was really, really good. Those guys will start making shots, but again, like I said, for me to predict that Tracy was going to shoot more than 64% from 3, I wouldn't have probably been able to predict that one. But the effectiveness and efficiency that he's had is not surprising to me because of how hard he's worked and the fact that I think he understands the game and the game has slowed down for him.
Racing and Keene had 43 points, but needed 39 shots to do it. What was maybe different about the defense against those guys as opposed to maybe some of the other really good guards?
Yeah, I just thought we did a good job of trying to force them into challenging contested shots, and tried to defend the 3-point line and with some grit. I thought Hill was terrific defensively on the ball. I thought he exerted a lot of energy out there. We put him on those guys at times. We rotated bodies on him. Tracy played him. J. Cole played him. Williams played him. We rotated a lot. Tate played those guys. I thought our strength in numbers helped us with that. But I just thought we did a good job of making them earn everything. And And certainly not that we didn't do a great job either. That sometimes you catch a night where a guy banks in a three or makes a scoop shot, or it is what it is. You can't control that. As I've told you guys and the players, it's not the NBA playoffs. It's a one-game deal, and bank in a three the rest of the year, I don't know, but he did that day. So that's the way it works. But all in all, my deal was let's just make them earn them, defend them as a team, group effort, put different bodies on them, and I thought we were able to accomplish that.
Louis back in Coach back here. To get away from on the court real quick, I wanted to get your thoughts on the crowd tonight. 13,000, it felt like almost a conference game, a big conference.
It did, yeah, it was great, and I hope they continue to come out and support these guys, especially if they play like that. It was great. I thought it was a big difference in the game. I mentioned those guys downstairs, the fans downstairs on the radio. I thought it made a huge difference. Great crowd, really engaged. Really appreciate the students coming out there in final exam week. That's, I know it's a hard week for them, and that turnout today meant a lot to our players. Certainly means a lot to me moving forward. I really appreciate them, and I appreciate the State Farm Center crew turning around the building. Last night I was in here for Amy Grant, Michael W. Smith. I left the building about 9:45, and then today the arena's set up. They had to work all through the night to do that. So that takes a lot of effort, and it takes a village to do something like we're doing at this level, and certainly all those fans and State Farm Center people are all a big part of it.
Back in the back again.
Scott can go answer. Just coming out in the second half, it seemed like there was a lot more just fluidity, kind of the offense. Was that in my head, or did you say something to that?
I thought we were pretty good and bought into the game plan of moving the ball and getting inside. Now, I will say, again, my job's to be critical. I thought that when we got the lead, we started to get stagnant. I thought we were playing the clock too much, hoping the clock would run out. Not that we'd have confidence we could win, but our possessions weren't of the quality the first probably 32 to 34 minutes. I thought we were excellent. And then all of a sudden we tried to, and I know it's tempting when you're a player, you got that lead, you're trying not to shoot quick and play with purpose and be deliberate. And I just thought the quality of our possessions there, we stalled a little bit there from the under 8 to about 3 minutes, where we got to look at that and see if we can learn and get better.
No T-John or Aaron today, just what kind of led to that?
A lot of it's based on the opponent we're playing, practice, how they played in the last game. Certainly nothing that those two guys necessarily didn't do, is more what, DJ played well in the last game, played well in practice. The same thing with Tate, thought they'd earned it. We're going to need all those guys, we are. Each game's different, each opponent's different, each scheme is different. So we've got to have those two guys ready. Their attitudes were great. They understand it's about the team. And, now through 11 games, I think we're starting to really, guys are buying into the strength in numbers. It's not easy because everybody wants to play, but, it's about the team, and we have a bunch of guys who have really bought into that.
Hey, Coach, back here again.
Scott, we're with Scott. Finish up.
Oh, okay.
Not exactly a follow-up, but now word came out to Monte towards ACL, just kind of a situation like T-John last year. Just what can you guys do for him?
Well, obviously, I feel bad for the kid because it's a senior year. It's not necessarily how you envision it being played out, but I told him last night that things happen for a reason, and we got to figure out a way to turn it into a positive. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about Tracy here this afternoon, and what he went through was hard, but it made him a better player, I think, and a better person. It's not fun, and I'm confident that with our support, his family's support, the Peoria community, that he'll, God has a plan for him too. He does, and so we've got to continue to support and encourage him. We believe in him.
Hey, Coach. Real quick, I asked Tracy the same exact question, and sort of like the extension of you. Everything that we talk about, no matter what it is about offense, it always goes back to defense. Knows you're going to score, knows the team's going to score, but to hold this team to 73 points, I think it was, and to hold Keene to just 25, and really slow them down, was this the game that you were waiting for? You knew that
we still could play better, and I think he would tell you that too. Like, at the half we were up, we made we made 2 or 3 mistakes on the 3-point shooter in the right corner, coverage and rotations that I thought were big, because now all of a sudden it's a 10-point game. I thought it should have been 15-ish at the half, but we got to clean those things up. And, I've told those guys, no one's perfect. I'm not, they're not. But we need to get to the point where 80% of the time we're doing what we're supposed to do, we're executing it, and the 20% of the time we don't. We play so daggone hard and with such passion that we'll cover it up for each other every once in a while, inside that 20%. And that's what we're working to get to right now. We've got some guys that are still outside that make, some on certain things, 50% of the time they don't make say 50, they do, and that's why I think we can still improve and get better, especially on the defensive end.
Brad?
I want to go back to Jordan and Lucas real quick. How much does it help having a guy like Tate who kind of lost the starting spot, had one half where he didn't even get to play, but yet stayed engaged during that time? How much does that help those young guys?
I think it's great. The maturity level he's had. I mean, shoot, he came in the VCU game. I think he was the third point guard we played. My gosh, he handled the press that day in the second half. It's terrific. And, if you're a pouter and you're worried about, because the world wants people to worry about starting and this and that, and you're a pouter and you're not very mature, he'd have never been able to play the way he did in the second half of the VCU game. And, or like he did today, or like he did in practice. So, yeah, it's great. I think those guys, I've said the whole time, I think one of the things, the reason why Lucas continues to get better is because of Abrams and Tate. Those guys have mentored him, and I think the response that you see Tate have to, how we've decided to maneuver the lineup and flip it around. Not one time has he pouted, and it's all about the team at this point in time as a senior for him, and he's been through a lot, and I think that's great for the younger guys to see his disposition and how he handles himself.
Back here to the right.
With the addition of Kipper Nichols coming against BYU, how are you going to ease him into the lineup at all, or is it just going to be practice like everybody else?
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, he's, his first game he's available. As long as everything gets in that we need to get in, will be BYU on Saturday. Obviously we played well today. He's had some good practices. A lot of it will be based on practice. A lot of it will be based on the film that we watch in terms of what we need to play well against BYU. He has he brings something different to the table with his defense and his body, that's different. Other guys have other qualities that are different. And so, it's a unique team in that regard, and that's why I keep referencing strength in numbers. And those guys got to be ready to go. We expect him to be ready to go. How much we use him is still yet to be determined on Saturday.
Coach, you get 8 and 11 from Bo today. He's been efficient in the paint. You feel pretty good about the way he's progressing right now?
No question, he's gotten better. It was good to see him moving well today. He was really engaged. I thought he did some really, really good things. He's really improved. Right now, Derek, where he's at now versus game one is like night and day. In terms of even just how he moves. So we're getting there. We haven't. He hasn't arrived yet, but he's much improved, and I still think he even has a higher ceiling.
Scott, have you ever coached a game where the first 6.5 minutes the whistle doesn't blow and both teams just kind of go at each other offensively?
Yeah, I mean it did obviously, and our guys had to fight through it a little bit with the conditioning, piece a little bit. I thought we, did okay with that. They were a little bit tired as well. You could tell it went deeper. The media ran to 13 and change, but I don't know. I mean, not very often, Scott. Probably doesn't happen very often where you play 6+ minutes and never have a whistle. That's unique.
So much of the story coming in today was about Keene. You think Tracy took that a little personally today?
Maybe. A couple of those guys probably did. They're competitive. We got a couple of those guys are really, really competitive. They want to take turns guarding them, and I mean that out of respect for Keene. When you're the nation's leading scorer at the efficiency level is what was incredible. That was astonishing. Here's this guy that had 31 points a game. And you see that, and you're like, this guy jack shots. Well, he makes 50-some% from 2, 44% from 3. I think he was 80+ from the line, 2 to 1 assist to turnover. So it's not like he's just jacking balls. This kid's a heck of a player. He's really efficient. So, our goal, and Scott mentioned it earlier, he alluded to it with the 43 points on 39 shots. We want to do the best we could to make them high volume. And that's hard. And today, 25 shots on 23 field goal attempts. Because we knew he was going to put them up there. And I think that was, our guys deserve a lot of credit for really locking in and taking on the challenge.
Any further questions for Coach?
You excited for Tom Petty?
I love Tom Petty. I didn't even realize he was, what's the date of that?
I think it's May.
May, it's good, that's a non-recruiting month. Chances I might be there is pretty good. I like Tom Petty. Anybody else in here like Tom Petty? Or am I just an old fogey? I like Tom Petty. All right, guys, thanks. Have a great day.